Welcome to the Watch Project Show, brought to you by the Watch Project Media Group. If you have ever dealt with the wild world of homeowner associations or condominium boards, you know it can get a little crazy. Each show, we're diving deep into the politics, the news, and the unbelievable stories that come out of association living. Whether you're a board member, a homeowner, or just want to learn more, we've got something for you. So, let's get into it. Now, presenting your co-hosts, Dr. Deetra Poindexter, an executive director and the founder of the Watch Project, Michael Shepard.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Watch Project Show with Michael Shepard and Dr. Deetra Poindexter. Today we're going to be going over where SB406 is in the process. So far, it's been good news. It passed the Georgia Senate unanimously, including what I am now dubbing the Watch Project Amendment, where we should have impartiality. So if you are currently connected to an HOA law firm representing an association, a property management firm, you're not going to be eligible to be on that board. And based off of the horror stories that we've seen, that's the way it needs to be. How do you feel about that, Deetra, with where we are with SB 406?
Well, I believe that is good because we need neutral people. Because if you have people like that, it kind of keep it. It's more biased. I believe it is because you got more things in the game that could influence what the bylaws actually says.
Yeah.
It's plainly written in black and white. So I don't need for you to add no extra word or interpret it this way or that way because you have your own personal gain in that. So having it not them being on the oversight committee, I think that'd be perfect. And I think the people, the homeowners, will get more justice.
Yeah. What are we looking at on the screen right now?
Ooh, that's a big fat pig on the screen, and it's feeding its babies.
Who are the babies?
Oh, it looked like the HOA board.
HOA board, community management, property management, whatever you want to call it.
And the lawyers?
Their collection agencies. I can't make out the name in the lower right-hand corner, but that's who came up with this, so full credit goes to that individual. This also came across my
Oh,
my
you got
text
that
message.
too. Oh yeah, I saw this. I saw this, you know, wolf in sheep clothing. That's what it's saying,
Exactly
right?
what we don't want. We don't want wolves overseeing things. We don't want, them coming in pretending they're one of us when we know they're not. And when I say one of us, I'm talking about ethical people. We know they're good, decent property management firms, HOA board members, HOA attorneys. I serve on a board. I'm not an angry homeowner. I took down a corrupt HOA. We're doing our best to get things back to where it should be. So, the whole stereotype that the only people calling for oversight are maniacal homeowners who are just angry is completely not true. I've met many great people who serve on boards. I've spoke to people in property management, but the truth of the matter is the bad actors in that field, once they're in their position, they wreak havoc. They truly do. They allow corrupt, shady board members to get away with doing a lot of the work that resulted in people coming to the Capitol, people going to the media. I've heard people from the opposing side who do not want oversight say, we're getting a bad rap in the media. Um, that's why these politicians are doing this. You're getting a bad rap in the media because you're doing bad things and you're allowing it. And if that's not true, go and tell your story and explain your take on the people experiencing, you know, um, financial fraud, uh, fine abuse, shady foreclosures. You know, I want to hear them give their take on why that's happening, because all we keep hearing is that's not everybody. Okay, we have laws that address issues and not everybody. One of the more cliche things is that we say is everyone's not a murderer, but we're going to have a law on homicide.
That is
Yeah,
true. That is true. And then you look at it, In this aspect too, they say one bad apple could ruin all the good apples. So
Yeah.
we're trying to make sure that all the good apples of the HOAs and the POAs and the COAs
Mhm.
also keep those good apples because that's what we want. We want a batch that's full of apples, but it's also like a family, you know, that back in the country,
Mhm.
they had a lot of kids, at
Yeah.
least 10, 12, but each of those kids were different. So you might have a county that might have 10 or 12 subdivision, but all of it is not gonna operate the same because the individuals that lives in that community are not the same type of people.
Yeah.
But what regulate them so that everybody can be fair is those bylaws. And if everybody's playing by the bylaws, then it don't matter what community you go into because it should be similar. Not the same, but the similar.
Yeah.
Meaning that we're going by what we see in black and white and not what we're trying to interpret it into our own understanding.
Yeah. So I went to the Capitol this week with Dr. Amanda Dutton, who's done a lot of work on the data side. So credit to her for that. She's also was there when I started the Watch Project. She's a co-founder. You guys are going to hear from her pretty soon on some of the data that she's done, the results that she's seen. But we got to go to the Capitol, and that was very interesting because that was the first time that we went there together in the context of going to talk to legislators and letting them know, like, look, we have an issue. Great. SB406 is out of the Senate. So we primarily went to go talk to people, politicians in the Georgia House. And
Yes.
we had a conversation actually with House Judiciary um, Committee member, Vice Chair Matt Reeves. And that conversation I thought went pretty well. He was pretty direct. He was pretty honest about, what the the, the talk was about with SB406. Um, I thought that we had a good conversation with him. We found out that the bill should be coming to the House Judiciary Committee pretty soon, as early as next week. We're recording this right now on March 14th,
Mhm.
and he told us he thought that SB46 should come to the House Judiciary Committee for its first hearing pretty soon. So we got a chance to talk with him. We talked to a few other politicians. It was just in the hallways, but we need everyone out there to contact Matt Reeves, the vice chair. We need people to contact Stan Gunter. He is the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. Um, from what it looks like, SB46 is going to go through the House Judiciary Committee for its hearing, then a vote, before it could go on the full House floor vote. So contact them on Facebook, Twitter,
Yes.
LinkedIn if they have one.
Mhm.
Um,
Email them.
yeah,
Email
email
them.
them, show up like we did. Me and Amanda, we went down there and we knocked on doors and, because it, you can try to make an appointment. I don't know if you'll get a call back, right? I mean, we're not millionaire lobbyists, but we do have a voice. We do have numbers on our side, and so utilize that. We saw what we were able to do with SB46 in the media, and we saw what we were able to do in the Senate side. So we need to do that same thing on the Senate
Yeah.
side.
And I totally agree. So, like I said, you saw the list of the panel that's on that committee. So, even though Michael pointed out those 2 people, but we need for you to hit all of them. Hit all of them, either by email, phone calls, social media, by any means necessary. That what I say to let your voice be known and let it be heard loud and clear. Because you got to remember, they work for us. We elected them in. We voted them in. We can vote them back out. So you got to let them know what it is that is concerning you and how important this SB 406 bill is to help the state of Georgia. These are representing everybody in the state of Georgia. So please get on it. Just hit the resend button, resend every hour on the hour so they'll know that we're serious about this. A change have to come.
No, exactly, exactly. Um, so we're gonna keep this up for a little while, just to show you their contact information because this is pretty important stuff. SB46 passed unanimously, like I mentioned earlier. in the Senate side. We need the same thing on the House side. From what I was told and from what I've actually seen, people who oppose oversight are coming in this arena with the tone that this isn't for homeowners. This is going to be a headache. I'm sorry, but saying that your condo, your HOA board, your POA board, your co-op board are the volunteer group, and that this is too much of a burden for them is completely irrational. This volunteer board has the ability to take your home away. This volunteer board could hit you with $20,000 fines. They don't
Mhm.
even have to tell you what it's for.
Exactly.
That is too much power, as far as, it taking away civil liberties. I've seen, talk like that this is violating private contracts. It's really funny because this is the reason we even need this is they're the ones who's actually violating their contract. They're supposed to provide you with documents. They're supposed to give you your elections, your meetings. You're not getting that. So these people who are breaking the contracts, and it's funny because many private contracts are regulated by the government. So the fact that they're even trying to use that talking point is very weak to me. And going back to the volunteer board, well, don't volunteer to take somebody's home. Don't volunteer to hit somebody with a $10,000 fine, if you can't stand oversight. And to be honest with you, if this is going to make corrupt, shady, or misinformed and confused people not want to be on the board, I welcome that.
I agree because that is a big responsibility that that person is taking over, and it's not just one person that's on that board. A board is normally is an odd number, so to make sure that the voting comes
Mhm.
out fair, but then also is hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
But if you have a board member that making it so unreasonable to sit on that board and everybody start dropping off to the point where you only have but one board member that's supposed to be running the whole HOA board, then you know something is wrong. So those things like that too, it's supposed to be something where we the people that come together, this is our community. I have seen how neighborhood has renamed itself and everything from we are the community or we're the village. Then they moved from the village to the community, then they moved to the neighborhood watch. We're here to watch out for each other. I think that came up when they used to call us the lat key. We
Yeah.
used to come home from school with the keys instead, and then now we got it where now we got HOAs and stuff like that. So basically, the same purpose is there. The purpose is we supposed to be our neighbor keeper, not sit up there and see how we can take from each other and profit. And then because I'm looking at it like this: if you got apartments that's
Mhm.
evicting people. Now you have HOA boards and COAs and POAs. Now they can just go down to the courthouse with no reason at all, fill out a piece of paper, the lien, don't even tell you that they're doing it. They end up foreclosing. Now you evicting people out of their homes. Now they homeless.
Yeah. Yeah. Make it make sense. That's
Yeah,
that
make it
look you had
make
on your
sense. I'm
face.
I'm I'm stuck. I'm stuck right now because it ain't making sense. And you got people in the city and everywhere talking about we gotta do something with these homeless people. You making more homeless people.
Yeah.
What's the point?
No, I hear you loud and clear. So, once again, contact these people, let them know you're serious. Um, when I talked to, Representative Matt Reeves, he said that people from the other side have been coming in and saying this is not good for associations, this is not good for communities, costs, private what was the other thing that they're claiming? But, property values. Look,
Mhm.
you need oversight. We You have a situation where the laws are created by the legislator, then it's if it goes to a legal situation, it's fought in the courtroom hall in the courtroom, um, in the courtrooms, but there's no executive enforcement. And it needs it. This is we always hear about the 3 pillars of government. There's no
Yes.
3 pillars of government here. We need an enforcement agency when these associations fall out of line, and as we've seen from the media stories, as we've seen in our own neighborhoods, it they're running amok.
Yeah.
And they're afraid right now. They see the walls closing in. I just wanna put out there, actually, after talking with, Representative Reeves, he was like, "You know what? Have you talked with the other side? Have you reached out?" So, in that vein, I want you to extend the invitation to anyone that opposes oversight. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna personally reach out to a select few people who I've seen, go to the Capitol and speak out against it. Um, I've talked to people that I wouldn't say they're necessarily against oversight, but they're concerned that, well, maybe this is gonna stop my ability to effectively run an association. That's not true at all. I haven't heard an actual example of how holding a corrupt board accountable is gonna stop them from actually being able to carry out, whether it be their bylaws or their covenants, their governing documents, if you will, or their rules. If it's legitimate, you're gonna have something to stand on. Who's gonna be hurt are the people coming up with random rules that's not even tied to the bylaws, and basically granting themselves seemingly, according from their point of view, God-given powers to regulate your life, and it's coming out of thin air. So,
So there you go. You said the famous word, legit.
yeah,
If
yeah,
you ain't legit, that's the only people that got a problem with the oversight, because the oversight is just like anything else, check
yeah,
and balance.
yeah,
Everybody have to have a check and balance, just like you said about the three jurisdiction government. It's a check and balance,
yeah,
making sure that nobody don't have more power than the other person. So we all playing on a fair grounds.
yeah,
So if you ain't doing something legit, that's don't fear that you only have. If you're doing everything correct, we say kudos to you.
yeah.
But if you're not, you fit to get caught.
If you can't be too legit, it's time for you to quit. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. If you can't be too legit, you need to quit, and you should.
Right.
Um,
If the blood don't fit,
you know the rest.
you know the
Yeah,
rest. Yeah.
yeah. So I really hope that when SB406 goes through, it sends these corrupt thieves, these tyrants running scared and running for cover. Once again, I serve as the condo board president at Peyton Place that's faced so many difficult issues. I've spoke a lot of people who are calling for oversight have gone down to the Capitol are either currently on the board like myself or they've served on the board. And not only served on the board, they've served on the board for years. They've served as the president, the secretary, the treasurer, the vice president, members at large. Um, well, whatever position is on the board, they've served on there and they're calling for this. And so this really needs to happen. I remember telling Matt Brass that, and I'm probably repeating myself for those of you who know me, or I believe I've stated this before in previous recordings, but I remember being asked, Michael, and said, Representative Reeves asked me this too. He goes, "What state has a model for Georgia to replicate?" And I go, honestly, Florida is pretty strong, but no state has what Georgia is putting forth with regulating the association industry. And if you're a bad actor, refusing to register, refusing to give documents that your
Mhm.
community members should already have,
Right.
but you're refusing to comply with hearings, and you're doing shady stuff, you're going to be removed. The Secretary of State, you will have the power to go ahead and deal with shady, corrupt, I dare even say criminal board members, and no state from what I've seen has that, but that doesn't mean Georgia can't have that, and it looks like we're well on that road and that path of setting the national standard.
Well, why don't we just be the first then? Why does somebody else got to be the first to be the role model to see if there's any other state? Why we can't be the first?
Yeah.
Because you see
Mhm.
that it's needed. And if it pays out well, then
Yeah.
everybody else is going to jump on and say, hey, this is a good model
Yeah.
to follow
We
through.
don't have to
It's
be
just
the
like you
follower,
think,
like, you don't have to follow after New York,
right.
California.
You can
Yeah.
just do what is best for your state. And because you should know your people in your state and your own bylaws and governing documents, how your state run and how the people and the citizens correlate with those rules
Yeah.
within their state. So we're going to do what is best. We're asking our Georgia lawmakers do what's best for what is best for Georgia,
Yeah.
for Georgia citizens. And when people come and move from different places, they coming because they say Georgia got the best type of rules to
Mhm.
actually live buy, and be comfortable
Yep.
and raise my
Yeah.
family and work.
Yeah.
So that's what you really want. You want to be on the top 10.
Yeah.
Hey, places that people want to move to. Why not?
No, exactly, exactly. Like, there's too much going on in 2026. People are worried about gas, food, jobs, the economy, personal relationships. The last thing we should have to worry about is what's going on with our association.
Yes.
You know, we shouldn't have to worry about this. And if there is something that is brewing, it should be nipped in the bud extremely quick, and expeditiously. So,
So it goes
yeah,
back again. Community looking out for the community.
yeah,
If your neighbors are just got laid off, like we just said, or going through something, death or whatever, you're supposed to be there to rally
yeah,
with that person. That's your village. That's your community. So we need to get back to that and not looking at the eye and look at the team.
yeah,
We're a team in this. So you said that we need to be at the Capitol on Monday. That's on March the 16th.
yeah.
That's
So
tentative on the schedule.
let's take a quick look. But so allegedly, there's going to be a meeting after the floor session in the House, and I'm trying to pull it up here, but there is a House Judiciary meeting scheduled for Monday at 1:30 p.m. in room 132 at the Capitol. However, on that agenda there is no SB406 on there. However, we know how they've been getting down the whole year where SB406 is not on the agenda. And 30 minutes
Mhm.
prior to a meeting, hey, it's magically on there. So I would keep an eye on that Monday meeting. Word is there's supposed to be another meeting scheduled for Tuesday, March 17th on St. Patrick's Day. So, we're gonna do our best to keep you up to date with that. We're gonna send out that email blast. So, make sure you register at thewatchproject.org. Scroll to the bottom of the page. Make sure you're on that mailing list to get the latest updates with that. But we need to show up there, especially if there's going to be a hearing, because we need to make our voice heard.
Yes.
The other side, there's law firms. I'll name Luter Larkin and Hunter. They're sending out emails. Stop this. Stop that. Stop SB406. No, all of the list of reasons I've seen on there, it's bull crap. They're
Mhm.
just afraid they're not going to be able to run without oversight, and their clients who are shady, who, they're breaking all the rules that these law firms and the industry groups, your CAIs, are saying, "Hey, no, that can't happen. That's not a reality, or if it does happen, go and sue." Well, once again,
Who
people
got
aren't
the
trying to come
money?
up with $20,000 to sue, and of course they would say that because they would be billing the association, um, that amount of money, if not more, not if not 70, $80,000, and that's not me being facetious or, hyperbole. We've seen lawsuits where it's gone there. We've seen $75,000 lawsuits over mailboxes in Georgia.
Yes.
So, of course,
Yes.
they would want a lawsuit to be your only remedy for an out of control HOA. So,
Again, back to money, 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 money. We're supposed to figure out strategies, how to work together. That's why you have hearings. Let's sit down and talk about it. What is unreasonable? What is that we cannot work together so that it won't escalate to that particular point? But also, we just had another rally. I heard a
we did.
subdivision. I had a subdivision, O'Hara Village in Clayton County had a HOA rally. And it was very peaceful. It was very peaceful. Pretty much is telling, hey, what we want. What do we want? We want our voice to be heard. What do we want? We want transparency. What do we want? We need communication. What do we want? We want accountability. What do we want? We want the board to take responsibility of what their rules is dictated to tell them how they should operate in their bylaws. So it's not like you're pulling a rabbit out of a hat. You are given the blueprint of the bylaws.
Yeah.
So we're not just standing alone, but we're standing alone for all the Georgia citizens and homeowners that's out there and saying enough is enough. And like I said, what is given to us, the bylaw states that we are supposed to have those information given to us. And it's nothing wrong for us to say, hey, where's the open record at? Can I see the minutes? And also, a board, HOA board, cannot have a meeting within themselves. It is a nonprofit organization. So in the meeting that they host, it has to be informed by the homeowners so
Yep.
they can be part of that discussion.
Yeah. So I got some images pulled up that we'll go over really quick. Some images, some video
Oh,
from
somebody on there.
yeah, that is you at O'Hara Village. If you're feeling helpless, at least one thing that you could do to raise spirits is host a rally in your community. You know, write out some signs, go out to the entrance. It's a good way to meet neighbors who may be dealing with the same issue that you are. A lot of times people keep this information to themselves, about being bullied or being
Harassed.
harassed or being robbed or facing other you know civil criminal issues with their HOA, and you don't know that your next door neighbor may be dealing with the same issue, but we don't really talk to each other like that. um so yeah, I'm gonna just play a few clips uh from that rally at O'Hara Village, Jonesboro, Georgia, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jonesboro, Georgia, and Clayton County.
Mhm. We demand real HOA oversight. We had people who were running for office. I don't want to butcher his name. I know I'm gonna call him Mr. Hill.
Yeah.
Was it Marcus Hill?
Marcus
He's
Hill.
running for Clayton County Sheriff in 2028. He showed up. Even law enforcement is sick of HOAs, POAs, COAs, their abuse. So this is a really salient issue. And I told people for the first time, I have seen politicians running and their platform is HOA oversight. I've never seen that before.
No, and this is it's time. It's time because if you're really for the people that's in your district or in your county, it's just time for you to speak up and really listen to what they're saying because they're crying out and they need help. They need help, and then if the system says that we're supposed to follow the change of command, then that's what we need to do. We're going through
I'm gonna turn
the
around.
appropriate steps and talking to the appropriate people, but at the same time, you gotta be about something too.
Yeah. No, exactly. Exactly. So once again, go to the watchproject.org. Subscribe to our mailing list to stay up to date with the latest information. Things are happening very quick in Georgia. They're moving very rapidly. The Georgia House session is closing out approximately April 2nd. So we got, let me see, one,
Three
two, we got
weeks.
about 3 weeks
3 weeks.
to get this done, to get this bill to the desk of Governor Kemp.
Yes.
Hopefully he will do something wonderful for property owners, homeowners in the state of Georgia on his way out as he completes his last term in office. So once again, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you at the next show. Any closing words, Deetra?
Now we just need for you to click like and share. Make sure you tell everybody. We need for you to subscribe to our broadcast so that we can get the word out. Your help us to help everybody else. So remember, click like and share. Click like and share. And remember, any information you need, you go to the Watch Project. Any update information, it will be there in that newsletter. So sign up and also take the survey as well. More data that we have, the better the lawmakers can go ahead and make changes quickly.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. All right, till next time, we'll see you guys again.
All
Peace out.
right. Bye.